Very good evening to all of you, and welcome to Stock Durbar with Team William India. I'm Rushit Sechpal, equity analyst at O'Neill. So I think a lot of people are still joining. So let's wait for one more minute, and then we'll be starting today's session. Okay, so let's begin today's session. Again, welcome you all to Stock Durbar with Team William India. Please see the clear disclaimer that the registration granted by the SEBI, the membership of BASL, and certification from NISM is no way guaranteed performance of the intermediary or provide any assurance of return to investors. Investment in the security markets are subjected to market risk. Read all the related documents carefully before investing. Okay. So I hope the voice is clear and you are able to see Nifty 50's chart. Just one or two comments. Thanks, Suman. Thank you.
Can be seen, Rushit.
Okay. So let's begin with today's session. So as you can see, the Nifty 50 closed at an all-time high. It's a couple of days back, it hit the 20K milestone, and it was a big news on the D Street. So that's a huge landmark for the market, touching the 20K mark. There's a huge liquidity in the market. The mutual fund flow is very, very good. Even the FIIs are, if you see last few months, that's been really good. If you look not only the index level, Nifty is just it's about the entire market 50 stock. But if you look at the broader market, the mid-cap 100, the small-cap 100, there's a huge rally. I think back to back for 9 to 10 session, the small cap and mid cap index were making fresh highs, and the rally was excellent one in the market. ये पूरा FY24 है, I think 31st March से वो पूरा घूम गया था from the last day of the previous financial year, और वहां से वो रैली मोड अभी भी चालू है. आई थिंक यहाँ पे निफ्टी पे बीच में थोड़ा नीचे आया था, like it tested its 50 DMA, which is in fact good. After such a strong rally, if you are consolidating and touching a 50 DMA and wahan se rebound. So this is what we used to discuss a lot in pre-bell. So some of you might be attending our morning session pre-bell also. When the Nifty was trading in this zone, we were discussing these levels only. कि इतना रैली के बाद एक बार अगर 50 DMA से जब रिबाउंड होगा, ठीक है, then there are high chances, the probability is high that we will make fresh highs. 20K हम पहुंच जाएंगे. And so that's what the path is like. After rebound from 50 DMA, we saw some good volumes over here, and Nifty reclaimed the 20K level. So overall, yesterday there was 3.7% inflation data in the US. Okay, and the US dollar hovered about a 3-month low to euro. And if you see the overall scenario, it was not that problematic. जो भी data आया था US से, the issue was not that major, and that's why you can see कि अभी जो next term, like next week जो उनका meeting है, so almost 60% are saying that rate hike is not expected. So the expectation is कि अभी वहाँ पे rate hike नहीं होगा, and even the treasury yields. Yesterday, if you see the treasury yields, they edged lower. वो सब नीचे थे after the underlying pace of inflation eased in the August. And that's why it's estimated that the Federal Reserve might keep the interest rate hike on hold. Abhi nahi karenge. That is what the expectation is. If you look at the technicals in the market, that's really, really strong. Abhi distribution day count is just 5. And we are at a fresh high. So आज भी एक नए high पे close हुए थे हम लोग. So I think today's volume is not there, but yes, overall the setup is good for at the index level. Now, if you see the mid caps and the small caps, look at the rally. And it was somewhere around 29,200 in the last week of March, and from there it hit almost 42,000 के नजदीक पहुंच गया था. 41,600 700 तक mid cap index गया था. So I think today's candle is still not updated because the market just closed. There was a sharp fall on Tuesday. It was some panic selling जैसा हो गया था. Even Wednesday को नीचे गया था, but look at the closing of Wednesday. The index closed higher that day. एकदम low से पूरा recover हुआ था. So this is some good indication. And even today, if you see, it was up almost 1%. So आज 1% का gain मिला. So this is something positive. एक यहाँ पे एक reversal मान सकते हैं. So this was a downside reversal for the market and for the mid cap. And yes, we have noted that down. But I think again, yesterday it reversed from the low. अभी 21 DMA तक भी नहीं पहुंचा. And again today it was up more than 1%. And there are pocket of strengths. जो कुछ sectors है, कुछ stock है, railways, the paper, and many more, right? They are doing really well. It's a non-stop rally for them. एक Tuesday को थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे सब कुछ हो गया था. But that's what you can expect. इतना बड़ा रैली के बाद ये कुछ नहीं था. अगर चार्ट पे देखो तो कुछ नहीं था. स्क्रीन पे आप सुबह लेके बैठोगे तो लगेगा भाई क्या हो गया, मार्केट खत्म होने को आया है क्या. But that is not the case. If you look at the overall big picture, then we are still in a very good zone as far as the markets are concerned. But yeah, we will look for the distribution day. Any weakness in the market, agar mid cap index 21 DMA breach karta hai, even the Nifty gives up the gains. Some of the leading stocks that are holding this rally, वहां पे अगर weakness start होता है, that is the time you need to be very very careful with the new additions. जो भी स्टॉक एक एक्सटेंडेड है की मूविंग एवरेजेस से, यू हैव अ डिसेंट प्रॉफिट 15 20 25% और मोर, बुक द प्रॉफिट. पार्शियल कर लो, फुल कर लो, ठीक है. जो भी स्टॉक मूविंग एवरेज को तोड़ रहा है एंड यू सी दैट 7-8% का लॉस हो रहा है या फिर मूविंग एवरेज टूट गया है, it's good idea to exit according to the O'Neill methodology. Because इतना रैली के बाद अगर करेक्शन आता है, जैसे कि ट्यूसडे को में भी एक ट्रेलर ही था, ठीक है. अभी इतना लंबा रैली आया तो करेक्शन 1000 2000 3000 पॉइंट का कुछ नहीं लगेगा. बट द प्राइसेस माइट इम्पैक्ट अ लॉट, ऐसा तुमको लगेगा इफ यू हैव बॉट इट वेरी लेट. Similarly, if you see the small cap index, here also similar picture. There's a huge rally and then this fall came, but again it also rebounded well. Let's see how it goes from here. If we take few sectors quickly, then Nifty Bank, it moved sideways a bit, but since last 3-4 session, it is trying to move higher. So there is a lot of pressure from the bigger banks. So यहाँ पे बंटवारा हो गया, दो भाग हो गए. एक smaller PSU banks, they are outperforming, they are at new high. Whatever name index we suggest, again a disclaimer that that's not for the investment purpose, please. So जैसे कि JK बैंक है या फिर बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा आज नया हाई बना दिया, छोटे जितने भी बैंक्स है, PNB is moving, they are moving higher and higher, ठीक है. But if you look at the SBI, HDFC बैंक, कोटक, वो सब एक इंडेक्स को पकड़ के बैठे हैं. उसकी वजह से इट इज मूविंग साइडवेज. इट इज नॉट एबल टू मेक फ्रेश हाई एंड इट इज नॉट एबल टू कंट्रीब्यूट दैट मच टू निफ्टी बिकॉज बहुत बड़ा वेटेज है लीडिंग बैंक्स का निफ्टी में. सो दैट्स द इश्यू. नाउ दिस वन इज समथिंग इंटरेस्टिंग, निफ्टी आईटी. सो लास्ट टाइम हम जब स्टॉक दरबार में मिले थे, ठीक है, that was I think yes 31st August maybe, Thursday को. So that time we discussed this in detail about the resistance over here कि हर बार ये यहाँ पे ये 31,200 पे, 31,500 पे, फिर से ये 31,600 पे रेजिस्टेंस आ रहा है. So we discussed that broadly एक सेफ जोन होता है 32,000. अगर उसको ऊपर मूव किया then the IT sector might be a big contributor to Nifty's rally. And that's what we saw here, that यहाँ पे उसने 32,000 या फिर ये जो भी रेजिस्टेंस वाला लेवल था, एक 31 to 32 वाला जोन, उसको क्रॉस किया. And from there is a very good rally, 2-3% gain from there, and now it has given a very clean breakout. Even if you look at the stock specific, जैसे कि TCS है, Wipro है, they have given a good breakouts, ठीक है. when on this day itself, the breakouts were very clean. So now these are some of the leading stocks in index, and they are helping the Nifty to hold. See, broadly, we have discussed this multiple times कि थोड़ा वो IT budgets का pressure था, and that was the reason for I think almost 1.5 year 2 year से IT index में कुछ इतना momentum नहीं बन पा रहा है. Overall it is in a bearish trend में था, but I think now it is trying to change the trend. अब अगर यहाँ पे hold होता है, and if more and more large cap IT stock, क्योंकि mid cap IT stock में problem ही नहीं था, यहाँ भी it was two sides of the coin. जैसे हमने banks में बात किया कि PSU बैंक था, private बैंक था, यहाँ पे भी वही था कि IT में एक तो small और mid cap IT थे जो ऊपर ही जा रहे थे, they were making fresh highs, okay, and then there were this big 4, 5, 6 IT players that were not moving and holding the index as well as the market. But I think now they have gradually started to move. They have given the breakouts. This is the area where you need to focus on. अगर आप rotation देखोगे तो अभी IT की तरफ चीजें मुड़ रही है. So you need to be active around these things. If you look at the autos, so yes, they are holding really well. It's at a fresh high. I think most of the larger auto players, auto ancillary players, and all the related players are performing really well. The demand is still robust for the auto companies. The the sales is good, the pre-bookings are good, and I think the extended festival season this time. So next month will be the Navratri season, then the Diwali, then the New Year season. So जो ये next 2-3 महीने है वहाँ पे एक robust demand is expected in the retail segment, in the auto segment. So consumption again it is expected to be a bit higher in this season because this year has broadly been good for the markets for the economy as well. So after थोड़ा मॉनसून में आगे पीछे हुआ था, कई जगह पे डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ठीक नहीं था, क्रॉप्स में प्रॉब्लम थे, बट कई जगह पे काफी रोबस्ट पैसा मिला है. ठीक है, इलेक्शन सीजन इज कमिंग, सो एमएसपीज हायर मिलेंगे. ठीक है, तो एक जो रूरल एरिया से भी कंजम्पशन होगा वहां से भी पुश मिलेगा. सो ऑटोज कंजम्पशन दैट यू माइट सी सम मोमेंटम कमिंग. If you look at the FMCG here also, just to continue the discussion, it is moving around its 50 DMA. I think once it moves above this level, it can again try to test this new high. So here also the setup अभी थोड़ा weak है 50 DMA कह रहा हूँ, but I think once it closes couple of days above 50 DMA, then you might see some good momentum here also. Metal stock यहाँ पे अच्छा मोमेंटम था आज. इट्स एट अ फ्रेश हाई. इवन yesterday also it made a new high. एंड जब सॉरी हाँ ट्यूसडे को भी ये न्यू हाई पे थे, फिर वहां पे भी थोड़ा सेलिंग आया 2-3% का. बट ऑन वेंसडे इट हेल्ड वेल अगेन, एंड टुडे देयर सम ऑफ द मेटल स्टॉक्स वेर अमंग द टॉप गेनर्स. सो अभी जो चाइना में एक थोड़ा सा इश्यू चल रहा था कि इकोनॉमी स्लो डाउन है ये वो, सो वहां पे दे आर ट्राइंग टू ब्रिंग अप न्यू रिफॉर्म्स, दे आर ट्राइंग टू पुश अप द इकोनॉमी. ठीक है, कुछ पैकेजेस ला रहे हैं. सो उसकी वजह से आई थिंक अभी जो ये मेटल कंपनीज है, केमिकल्स है, इन लास्ट 1-1.5 month you might have seen the chemical stocks, the fertilizers have also started moving because the prices of most of the major chemicals that were down huge like 20, 30, 40% का कट था on a YOY basis. So वहां पे एक इम्प्रूवमेंट होना स्टार्ट हो गया, and they have improved 5, 10, 15, 20% from their lows. So there's a lot of expectation that the Chinese economy will be on track and these metals and chemicals के प्राइस अच्छे मिलेंगे अभी मार्केट में. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's start with your questions, and in between, if something comes up to with specific group or sector, we might discuss it. So in the room today, we have Mayuresh Joshi, our head of research, and my colleague Wakar and Rajshekar are both here. So we all will try to answer as many queries as possible. Please do not repeat single query every time because it's a live session and tough to scroll here and there. So just put it once. We will try to answer as many as possible. We take it on random basis. There's no bias on taking up the queries. Okay, so just to make that clear. So okay, the first question comes from BS Danju. HDFC Bank and Canara Bank. See, HDFC Bank has just reclaimed its 50 and 200 DMA on a decent volume. So I think if this level is hold, जो ये 1630 के अराउंड का लेवल अगर होल्ड करता है और यहाँ से थोड़ी तेजी आती है on a volume, then the accumulation at this point is good. So this is what I liked about the HDFC Bank. So यहाँ से अगर थोड़ा momentum pickup करता है, then at least it might move to this level. So 1750 अराउंड का उनका उसका लास्ट ऑल टाइम हाई था, 7% टू पिवट, एटलीस्ट यहाँ तक आएगा. And then we need to see कि यहाँ से strong breakout दे पाता है या नहीं दे पाता. That is the second thing. But I think if it holds above these level, the HDFC Bank can give a good support to the market and it can move higher. So if fresh entry is not suggested, थोड़ा aggressive हो जाएगा. But yeah, if you are an aggressive investor and you have your own research and okay with this 50-200 DMA reclaim, then that's a different point. On the flip side, if you are holding this stock, then this 1630 around ka level, so 200 or 50 DMA ka around ka level, that can be used as stop loss. Otherwise, the fundamentally, the growth story, the HDFC group as a whole is good. So now this is the merged price of HDFC Bank and HDFC. So थोड़ा अभी इनिशियल स्टेज है उनका जो पूरा मर्ज हुआ है दोनों चीज. So I think we need one or two phone calls maybe here and there to understand कि कितना smooth integration हो रहा है. Is there any problem coming? What not? So that market might take some time to digest those things. But broadly, as I discussed, these levels can be watch out. Okay, if you look at the Canara Bank, it has given a very good breakout from a stage 1 cup base. The volume was very strong on the day of breakout. It is trading 4% above the pivot in an ideal buy zone. Fundamentally, it's a good story. The NPAs, the asset qualities have improved. Okay, the deposits are improving. If you look at the last few quarters earning, that have been excellent. इसका ROE अभी बढ़ के 16% हो गया है. And the number of fund holding has also increased. And looking at the way the volume is coming, it is a clear indication of some fund buying. So these are some high volume up days closing near the day's high. So this clearly indicates that there is a good accumulation from the funds going. So the stock is trading in the ideal buy zone. Okay, so 0 to 5% is the ideal buy zone. The volume are also decent. So
Rashid, hi.
Yeah.
Here, I'll take few queries now.
Sure.
I'll start with Texmaco. Yes. As you can see here, the stock has broken out from stage 1 cup with handle somewhere around May and beginning of June, and since then the stock has been rallying higher, and during the rally it has held its 21 DMA as well, which it's very good support. It's 21 DMA, which is highlighted in the chart here, and well, most of you are aware of, mostly you might be aware that we had this stock in our portfolio and we had made a very good return of more than 100%. We booked nearly 110, 120% of gain in this particular stock. And as this stock was extended from moving averages and we were able to capture a lot of gain, we considered let's book it and move on to other stocks which are breaking out and to our advantage or to our surprise, the stock has moved sideways and that also came towards its 21 DMA. So on the hindsight basis, we are right making that decision. So sometimes it's after screening a lot of stocks charts on daily basis, you'll get a inner feeling that let's book and move on to other stocks. So that is a case which happened in this particular stock as well. And still the stock is not consolidating. There is still momentum the stock has been doing, and let's wait for the stock to consolidate and form a base pattern here, and then you can take a decision whether to invest on the breakout depending on how the stock ratings will be around that particular point. And Also, depending on the market structure, how the Nifty and Nifty Midcap, Small Cap indices place at that particular moment, you can take a call. Until then, it's better to stay sidelines because the stock has extended more than nearly more than 100% from 200 EMA from the black line here. So it's not advised to chase extended stocks. There is no clear buy point at this particular point. It's better to move on to other stocks which are forming right, other base patterns are which are giving fresh breakouts rather than chasing extended stocks. Next is Jupiter Wagons, another company related to railways, which has done very good. Similarly with Texmaco, this stock has broken out from stage 5 base, and since then it has been continuously rallying higher and higher, and volume was also higher. And good accumulation was also there on the updates. A very constructive buying has happened in this particular stock as well. A very good story on the, especially the railway scheme has been working out for the in India, especially the government has been pushing infrastructure related investments into the railways, and with the, and also government is focused on increasing railway services to majority parts of the country. So these companies or stocks which are related to the railways are doing very good, and it is being reflected in the stocks price movement as well. And being a stage 5 breakout, we did not add, we did not consider this for addition, and we also advise not to take a fresh entry at this particular point. Let this stock again consolidate and see how overall dynamics in the railways and economy plays out before taking a call on Jupiter as well. Next is one more stock from the railways, RVNL. That is rail because this is also a stage 5 breakout which happened recently. And you can see here for the last from May, June, and July, the stock has moved very sideways. Just like a straight horizontal line, the stock has moved sideways. So there was no major action happened in this particular stock. Only a few occasions there were occasions of action. Otherwise, the stock stayed sideways, and the volumes have also dried up completely during the base formation, which is a very good sign. And recently, that is in the last 2 weeks, volumes have increased, and the action was also very strong. Price volume action wise, it is very good. But it being a stage 5 breakout, we are still staying sidelines. We are not bothered about the stock advancing from stage 5 breakout, but we try to stick to our base that to a late stage basis are considered tricky or considered risky, and success of probability is on the lower side for late stage basis. So that is the reason we are staying silent. But if you look at the ratings wise and price volume action wise, the stock is looking very good. There is no doubt about it. But if you have already have this stock in your portfolio, you can continue to hold it. It's better. It is advised to hold it, keeping a stop loss level around short-term moving average, and depending on the your buy price, you can keep a stop loss. But advising for a fresh entry is not advised at this particular point. Let's wait for the stock to consolidate, just similar to other stocks which we have discussed now.
Thanks, Raj. I'll take some queries now.
Sure, Wakar.
Yeah. Tushit, can you give me the chart for GMDC? Thank you. So if you see it pretty similar to, I mean, the past stocks action, but the sector is different. And if you look at it, the stock after breakout was, I mean, came down to its key moving averages, then it rallied from there. But overall, if you look at the EPS growth and certainly the fund holding for the stock, that has not been good. The fund holding for the stock have been declining. So if the ice factor is pretty much important for, within the canceling perspective, and even the earnings for the stock have been pretty much volatile. So, when you look at a stock, it's just not the price movement, but the entire gamut that how is it placed fundamentally, how the technicals are there, how is the long-term growth story for this stock. So, and plus institutional holding as well, whether the funds are pumping in money into the stock or not. So because of all the criteria, this stock didn't came up. Within the canceling parameters for us, but someone who would have bought it at breakout or even earlier as well can continue to hold the stock. Continue to hold or probably even exit, because looking at this moment, just from the 200 DMA extension, the 200 DMA extension looks a lot, and even it has reversed uh, twice. It has tried to reverse on on higher volume, so which is not a good sign. If someone is really aggressive and wants to still hold the story, can hold till the breach of 21 DMA. If 21 DMA gets breached, which is still near, how much, Rushit, how much is 21 DMA from here? It will be a lot. It's still 17%. At this moment, seeing the reversal in the stock, if you're holding, at least book partial profit is what we'll say, if not the entire profit. The next can be Triveni Engineering, then Mrs. Bector Foods. One of the really good stories that have been going around, and as you can see, the stock has broken out after a very long space of consolidation. Overall, the stock, the EPS rank of 95 is very good. Plus, the RS was the problem for this stock. But if you look at the RS line has started to move higher. The RS line is forming blue dots, that it is hitting new highs, so which is a really good sign. Slowly and steadily, even the fund holding is increasing. Someone who had bought this stock at breakout can definitely continue to hold this stock, and either can trail the stop losses with 21 DMA, and if and even considering the broader markets not holding up well or moving on the sideways direction, if the stocks move higher by around 25-30%, which is the 14% the stock has already moved from pivot. So if the stock hits the ideal profit booking zone, if not the entire profit gets booked, but at least book partial profits, so that your profits gets safeguarded. The next can be Mrs. Bector Foods. So what Rushit is trying to point out is the clear rally in this stock, and the last three results for the stock have been very good. And similarly, you can see the EPS rating for the stock at 98 is very good. ROE at 15% for the stock is decent, but to my assumption has been improving and is expected to improve further as well. Overall fund holding for the stock at is also improving very well. Uh, After, the good rally that the stock had, it advanced to more than 300% or more from the pivot, as you can see. After that, the stock has consolidated and is moving down on lower volumes. So that is a very, very good sign for the stock. And it rested near the 50 DMA, as you can see. And from the 50 DMA, it moves slightly higher on uh, really, just about average volumes. If the move would have been bigger, even the volumes would have been bigger, and plus the fall. The broader markets would have been holding well. An alternate entry could have been advised, but considering, the situation that we are in the moment, and with the mid caps and small caps, because of the relative outperformance not holding that well, and even the volumes are just about average. an alternate entry could have been advised, but considering the overall scenario, will not. And if the stock is able to probably form another base going forward, and it's able to break out from that base, maybe at that moment the stock can be looked at from a technical perspective. Someone who's holding the stock would have definitely be sitting on a huge amount of gains, and keep that 50 DMA line as the uh, hard stop loss line for you. I mean, as you can see in the last couple of times and even the entire rally as well, it has just closed like once or twice below the 50 DMA and not below that. So keep the 50 DMA as the stop loss line. If it's closing below the 50 DMA and it's not able to reclaim that in probably in the next couple of sessions or so, and if it's doing that on higher volume, the advice would be to exit the stock. Till then, you can continue to hold the stock.
Thanks for that. There is a question, Sheshasayee papers. So the paper stocks have been doing really well since last few sessions, or maybe you can say last few weeks. The paper stocks are in momentum. You look at all of them. You can say the JK, Sheshasayee, West Coast, Andhra, सारे paper stocks अच्छा कर रहे हैं. The demand is increasing for the paper. The consumption is still below the global average. अपना इंडिया का consumption काफी कम है पेपर का. तो उस हिसाब से देखे तो वहां पे बहुत स्कोप है इम्प्रूवमेंट का. Plus this new education policy. So one side there is this new education policy, new books to be printed, and that all story. The second side, you can see the box, the corrugated box and everything. So this online shopping boxes. So वहाँ पे भी एक अच्छा robust demand है. And with the tourism, the G20, the World Cups, the जो भी company वो tissue papers वगैरह बनाती है, वहाँ पे भी एक robust demand है. Even the globally also we export. So all the segments are on a good move. Plus the input cost अभी थोड़ा कम है paper industry के. The input cost have come down comparative to the last year, and the prices they have already increased the prices. सारी paper companies ने पिछले 2 quarters में price hike किया है. तो अभी demand ऊपर है, रॉ मटेरियल कॉस्ट रिलेटिवली कम है और प्राइसेस भी उन्होंने ऊपर रखे हैं. So all these tailwinds are coming together and fueling the rally of the paper stock. So Sheshasayee is already extended 13% from the pivot. So not a good idea to chase it, but if it moves around the pivot again, थोड़ा यहाँ से नीचे आता है, and if it's in 0 to 5% range, one can consider. बाकी इसका fundamental growth story मैंने बताया, ranking fund सब कुछ सही है इसका. So ROE of 25% is really good. So if someone has brought over here in this zone, ठीक है, या फिर पहले कभी भी लिया है, then use a stop loss. Maybe the first can be these levels, or the second can be the 21 DMA or pivot level. थोड़ा extended है, तो that these levels should be watch out. So next is Tata Power. There is a good rally in Tata Power. बहुत time लगा after if you look at the weekly chart, यहाँ पे उसने हाई बनाया था somewhere in April 22. Then for full 1 year, you can say यहाँ तक, हाँ, April 23 फिर से आ गया, पूरा एक साल वो नीचे गया. And right from the high of 298, it went lower to 182. So there was a steep correction in Tata Power and it lasted for a year. But now again, it has started a good move. Since last few months, it has reclaimed first the 50 DMA, then the 200 DMA, and now it is moving higher. So there is no clear base formation. And if you look at the price trend also, it's still lagging. Fund holding में इतना कुछ अभी improvement हुआ नहीं है. And overall, if you see the results also, it's a very mixed result. इतना कोई consistent result नहीं है. But broadly, the things are going better. ROE is 24%. The power demand, the EVs का इनका जो associations है, so these all lot of factors are helping Tata Power. But let's wait for some base to form, and I think next quarter का result कैसा आता है उस पे काफी कुछ depend होगा. And what is the status of fund holding? So 3 things to watch out: base formation, next quarter result, and the fund holding. So once all these checklists are clear, it's a very good story, and it can do well if formed a good base. Okay, so NBCC. So this stock has been in radar since many days. It has got a lot of orders, new orders from the government side. So the order book is increasing, and if you look at the last few quarter result, they have been very much robust. The sales improvement has been robust since last many quarters, but the earnings improvement अभी बहुत अच्छा आया है. So उसकी वजह से you can see after forming this cup base, there was a strong rally, and even today it closed above that 60 level near its all-time or near its 52-week high only. So अभी के लिए ये extended है. अगर आप होल्ड करते हो तो नियरेस्ट सपोर्ट कैन बी द 21 DMA. वो भी काफी डीप है, बट आई डोंट थिंक देयर इज अ क्लियर सपोर्ट. So in this situation, you can connect to the market. अगर broader market is giving up the gains, then you might book some partial profit, because यहाँ पे लॉस होने का चांस तो बहुत ही रेयर है. आइडियली जिस भाव पे ये बंद हुआ है यहाँ से, आई डोंट थिंक समवन माइट बी इन अ notable loss. So if you are in profit, then yes, you might book some, or you might wait for, you can fix a level, you can trail the stop loss. That's what you can do over here. Fresh entry not suggested at this level. Let it form a fresh base over here, and once it break out from there, then and only then a fresh entry is suggested.
Thanks, Rishit. I'll take a few stocks queries now. We'll start with the Tata Motors and few other automobile companies. Overall, on the sectoral front, Nifty Auto, as discussed by Rishit in the opening 15 minutes, Nifty Auto has been doing very good. It is trading near all-time highs. With the festive season coming up, overall demand for the automobiles has been intact, and the stocks within the sector are doing very good. If you look at Tata Motors specifically, here you can see the stock is forming stage 3 flat base, which is very ideal base pattern. During the base formation, volumes have come down, and it came down or retraced towards its key moving average, that is red line 50 DMA, which is a very positive sign, and it has also found support at its 50 DMA. And during the fall, the volume is on the lower side, again a positive sign. And before the base formation, after the stage 2 breakout, the stock has rallied beautifully. You can see most of the times when the stock went up, the volume was on the higher side, indicating good accumulation happening in the stock. And a bit of consolidation is what we look for when the stock is trending higher, and that is what happening in the current Tata Motor stock as well. And only the concern is that it's a slightly late stage base, stage 3, but we are fine with the stage count as well. But stage 4, stage 5 are considered risky. On the ratings wise, the ratings are fairly good. RS rating is at 71. That is because the currently stock has formed a consolidation base of flat base pattern. However, if the stock comes towards the pivot and breaks out from that level, definitely you'll see improvement in the RS rating as well. A by D rating, which indicates accumulation in the stock, is good at B+. Other parameters are very good. Number of funds which are invested in the company have increased nearly 20% to 950 funds in the last quarter, a very positive sign. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the earnings table. The company has able to generate good set of growth in terms of EPS and sales, a very positive sign. And overall, on the ratings wise and other price volume action wise, the stock is looking very good. Base formation is also very ideal. So let the stock come towards pivot, another 6% towards the pivot, and you can take a call on the breakout session, how the breakout happens. If it happens on a very strong volume, definitely it can be considered for addition. And if it sustains above pivot, a positive sign. However, if there is any resistance around that level, we can avoid that particular stock. And currently, if you are holding, you can continue to hold it. keep a stop loss a couple of points, 1% below 50 DM, and you can continue to hold it until that level is breached. Let's move on to other auto stock. Ashok Leyland has been asked a couple of times as well. Clear disclaimer, we have this stock in our portfolio. We have added around breakout in July, and it has done good after breakout, but recently the last couple of weeks there's some kind of profit booking happening in this stock, and it retraced towards its 50 DMA. On the Monday session, overall market was also on in a highly selling pressure, so this stock has also came towards its 50 DMA, but it is not it has not breached the 50 DMA comprehensively. It is still sustaining around that particular level, so we are still waiting for that level to be breached. That is the reason we are holding it. But if that level is breached on higher volume, then we'll exit it and we'll move on to other stocks. And looking for a fresh entry in this particular stock is not advised. Let it alternate entry is there, but that is not advised at this particular point as well. But let the stock form a base pattern before taking an fresh entry.
Thanks, Raj. Vakarya. I'll take some queries now.
Sure.
Arshit, can you give me the chart for Metro brand? Thank you. So as you can see, the stock did try to break out around during May or something, but this breakout wasn't that successful. It came back retracing to the key moving averages. And after that, you can see the markets have moved higher. I mean, the broader markets, your mid cap, small cap indices have moved higher, but the stock has pretty much moved in a sideways direction, not able to move around 10-11% higher from the index, and even hasn't, on the flip side, hasn't closed lower below the 50 DMA as well. As you can see, the in the last few sessions, the 21 DMA and the 50 DMA has pretty much got clustered together, and the stock has been closing very close to the 50 DMA. The number of fund holding for the stock have been declining, and even the RS line have started to move in a downward trajectory, which is not a good sign. But the only good thing is that the stock is holding its 50 DMA. Someone would have bought the stock on the breakout can continue to do so till the point the 50 DMA does not get breached. If the 50 DMA gets breached, can exit the stock, but considering the overall fundamentals and the business prospect for the stock, the growth story remains intact for the stock. Maybe if there is good rebound from the 50 DMA on above average volume, which has still not happened for the stock. If that happens, maybe the stock can move higher in the coming times as well. Next can be Heritage Food. So as you can see, during the sell-off in the market, the stock did let go of its 50 DMA. The 50 DMA has been breached, and the stock is pretty much 34% extended from the stock. So someone who would have bought the stock at breakout should have exited at the 50 DMA mark when it was breached on above average volumes. As you can see, there was big volume bars in there, and going forward, I mean, fresh entry into the stock is not advised, as the stock is 34% away from this 34% from the pivot at the moment. If the stock reclaims its 50 DMA, which may look like it can do it on above average volume, I mean, alternate entry could have been advised if markets I mean, if the broader markets can start performing, but overall there are still breakouts happening in the overall market. So I mean, let's not push behind one stock or chase just a single stock. If the stock in future is able to form another base going forward, that would probably be the ideal time for one to look at this stock. The other can be latest something. Okay, I'm not going up. Lemon tree. Give me lemon tree. Thank you, Rushit, for the stage count. So the stage count for this stock is 4, which is a higher stage base. So the stage count 4 and above, I mean, as discussed by Rushit, Raj both, have a higher chance of failure. And this stock has still moved 23% higher from this from the base. The fund holding for the stock have been declining, but overall, I mean, post-COVID, as one can see, the occupancy within the hotel sectors have been reviving. The average revenue for per room have been reviving. The spends have been increasing post-COVID, and the trend has been continuing. And it has almost come. It has just come back or is increased past the pre-pandemic level as well. So the sector as a whole is in good shape. But if you look at this stock or even Indian hotels as well, why I'm discussing about Indian hotel, even that stock is rallying, but is forming a stage 4 base. So these stocks are pretty much forming late stage bases at this moment. And so when late stage bases are formed by this such kind of leading stocks within the sector, there is some chances of failure, and that is the only thing that is probably hampering us from not entering into the stock. These were the stocks that, when earlier breakouts happened, we did enter into these stocks. As a disclaimer that we were giving out, Indian hotels at stage 3 breakout was looking very attractive, and it did rally very well from there as well. So overall, the sector is in momentum. If a certain good story comes in where, I mean, the stage count is not that high, can be eventually looked at, because but stocks with higher stage basis in any market, whether you are in confirmed uptrend or I mean, even in the distribution day count is zero, broader markets are performing, should be avoided. That is the only rule, I mean, you should follow.
Thanks, Vakar. So
Yeah.
Smita has a question related to the mid cap, small cap, that the correction after on 12th September, are you are seeing rotation from mid small to large? Is it, see, broadly, thoda rotation. We are seeing some rotation because the fall on that 12th September was not that sharp, or I think there was no fall broadly on the large cap. So index base, there was no fall. There were some selective mid cap and small cap stocks that we saw that there was a huge fall, 4, 5, 6, 7% fall. And not selective, but I mean on the broader market में हर जगह वहाँ पे selling था. But the things were holding in the at an index level. If you look at the IT stock, the TCS, the Wipros that I already discussed, even the Titan is breaking out. And if you look at the ITC is coming from offloads, it is trying to reclaim the 50 DMA, the FMCG index as a whole. Yesterday or day before yesterday, HDFC बैंक भी अपना 50 और 200 DMA reclaim किया. तो हाँ, broadly अभी हम कह सकते हैं कि थोड़ा अभी लार्ज कैप के साइड एक इंक्लिनेशन बनता जा रहा है. बट इट इज नॉट दैट कि ये स्मॉल और मिड कैप का भी स्टीम खत्म हो गया. बट यू नीड टू गिव सम टाइम, 2-3 days 4 days अ वीक, टू सी दैट हाउ द थिंग सेटल. वो एक दिन वाला नीजर रिएक्शन था, उसके बाद अभी थोड़ा सेटल होने का ट्राई कर रहा है ब्रॉडर मार्केट. So if it settles and if it resumes rally, that is secondary thing. But yes, as of now, you can say that there is some rotation to the larger stocks. To the next question, I think there were some Taj GVK Indian hotels. So Vakar has covered the hotel sector, and I think broadly similar things might be there. So there's one question on NH, Narayana Hrudayalaya Hospital. So it was a very clean breakout today, but the problem is it was a stage 4 base. That's why we are a bit worried to add this stock, especially in this kind of market. Not in this kind, but any kind of market like stage 4, we will be very selective. Rarely we go for a stage 4 base. We just go for 1, 2, or 3 only, because chances of failures are high. And here, what we are dealing with is the probability, about the chances of getting the highest possible return. So here the probability is less, and that's why we try to avoid stage 4 base. If someone is holding, it's a good stock. You can see the fundamentals are strong, the revenue growth, the sales growth, the EPS growth, ROE of 18%. Fund holding is increasing in the stock, and the volume. This is what I like. Like अगर कोई trader वेडर है और volume base पे काम किया तो अलग बात है. But yeah, stage 4 base is a bit tough. But if you look at today's volume, today's closing, that is excellent. If this would have been stage 1, 2, or 3 base, we would not have hesitated to add this stock in our portfolio, because NH का story काफी अच्छा है. उनका occupancy बढ़ रहा है, average revenue per bed बढ़ रहा है, margin is expected to improve sharply over the next few quarters. So the story remains good, but I think technically थोड़ा base wise हमको extended लग रहा है. If you are holding, you can continue, use some stop loss level 50 DMA ka around the, but fresh entry from O'Neill lens is not suggested here. There is one question from YouTube. Bank of Maharashtra. So this has been a very good setup. Again, a clear disclaimer that the Bank of Maharashtra is part of our model portfolio, and we are sitting at a 34% gain, as you can see over here. We had added this stock on July 19, and the gain has now increased to 34%, and we still continue to hold the stock. So that's a clear disclaimer. Here also the asset quality improvement, the deposit growth, the credit growth, everything is well on track. And you can see the number of fund holding crazy increase. You can see the shares held by fund 108%. This is rarely. एक quarter में इतना growth बहुत rare होता है, but yes, we saw this in the Bank of Maharashtra. ROE of 18%, the fundamentals are superb, and look at this blue dots over here. RS at new highs, strong accumulation हो रहा है यहाँ पे. Okay, so it's a good story, good stock. The banking sector में जैसे हम बात कर रहे थे छोटे PSU stocks बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं, and this is one of them. So we continue to hold. You can use maybe 21 DMA or a level below that as a stop loss if the breach is in a higher volume. बाकी fresh entry यहाँ पे suggest नहीं करते हैं because it is already extended 35% from its base.
Rishit, I'll take quick queries now. Most of the stock queries or sectors are covered. I'll take graphite. Graphite India has recently broken out from stage 1 flat base the last in the ending of July or the beginning of August, you can say. And from there, the stock has moved higher, and it has currently had advanced nearly 17% from the pivot. So there is no proper buy point at this particular point if you're looking for a fresh entry. However, if you're already holding this stock in your portfolio and you're asking whether to exit or hold, our advice would be to hold it because key moving averages are still not breached. You can continue to hold it. You can keep a stop loss around 21 DMA, which is closer towards current market price. And if that level is breached, you can consider exiting. But overall, on the EPS front, the stock is not looking good. You can see EPS of 11 indicates very poor fundamental character. That is majorly because the company was not able to generate growth in sales or EPS, that is in profits. There is no growth in that segment. Both the top line and bottom line have not seen improvement during the last quarters. So on the results wise, the company is not able to generate a good set of numbers, but technically the stock is looking good. It has broken out and it has advanced and it is holding above moving averages. That is a very positive sign on the technical front. Considering this, you can continue to hold it, and if that level is breached, you are advised to exit it. There is one query on Tata consumer product. Okay, very interesting. Today, you can say it's mostly considered can be considered as a bearish reversal after the breaking out from the base pattern, flat base. Uh, it showed a very bearish reversal sign making a new high. But on the closing basis, it closed near the day's low, and the volume was also on the above average trend, indicating some kind of resistance, and there is no fuel for the stock to go higher. Considering only today's session, but in the tomorrow session going forward, if you see stock sustaining above pivot and the volume comes in, definitely a very good stock. Fundamentally, there is no doubt about the company's ability to generate growth in sales and profit, but technically it is slightly beaten down. I can see RS rating has come down to 44, which is considered poor according to our rating mechanism. That is the reason we are not looked at this stock, or we have not included this stock in our buy watch list or any of our list which we monitor. And if you are holding it, you can consider around stop loss around 21 DMA, which is closer towards the current market price. And if that level is reached, you can consider exiting. And if it sustains in the buy zone and RS rating is it is slightly lower, but that is so it's better to avoid stocks which have lower RS because in this current market, when the market is at the new highs, both Nifty as well as broader market indices, mid cap and small cap are doing very good. So you'll see a lot of stocks, ample of stocks breaking out, and stocks which have higher RS above 70, 75. You will see lots of stocks, and you can. It's better to go with those higher leading stocks because in this bullish market, the probability of these stocks outperforming the market will be higher when considered with lagging stocks. Next is I'll take IGL. Again, in this current market, just like a previous stock, it has this very low RS rating. This is because when the uh, benchmark indices are trending higher, when the market is at a new high, this stock has moved sideways. It has not found momentum to rally higher. It has continued trading on the sideways around 400 to 500 range. That is the reason its RS is lower because most of the stocks have outperformed this stock on the many time frames. So that is the reason RS is lower. But fundamentally, the stock EPS rating is very good, indicating good uh, growth trajectory in both sales and EPS. Return on equity is also very good at 20. But the only problem with this is a lower RS rating. A number of funds indicating institutional sponsorship for the company has also increased 6% in the last quarter. Again, a positive sign. But overall base pattern wise, price volume action wise, it's not looking very constructive to take a fresh entry. Uh, and if you are already holding it, you can currently it is trading very close towards its moving averages, 50 or 200 DMAs. So if those levels are breached, you can consider exiting the stock.
Yeah, Raj, I'll take in last couple of queries before we wrap the session up. I mean, almost done.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. Um, so, is Astral being taken? No, no. So I'll take Astral. I'll take PNB and then I'll wrap it up. So as you can see, the stock is forming a base on base pattern, and the stage count is 1. But the only problem is the RS rating. The RS rating has come down to 48. Even the buyer demand is come down to C. That means the stock is seeing distribution. The stock is falling on above average volumes, which is not a good sign. And currently the stock is trading well below its 21 and 50 DMA at the moment, forming the right hand side of the base, which is not a good sign. So the stock is still 7% to pivot. So if the stock rebounds from here on above average volumes, both the price action needs to improve and even the volumes needs to improve. And with that, if the rating improves, the RS line starts moving higher, and if the stock is able to break out on above average volumes, maybe at that moment, considering the overall market scenario, can be looked at because the other parameters uh, such as the EPS rating and the ROE for the stock is very good, and even the fund holding for the stock has been increasing. So it's just the technical deterioration for the stock at the moment. If that subsides and the price volume action improves for the stock, maybe can be looked at. Uh, IRCTC, then Dawat last few. Just let's start it up. So IRCT is fine. Like after a decline and everything is forming a base at this moment, but it's a very wide and loose base as you can see. And even the RS rating for the stock at 33 is very weak. And so what even Rajshekar was earlier saying, considering the market we are in, go with stocks with the best RS and the RS line hitting new highs. Those are the stocks that have higher probabilities of moving higher. The RS rating at 33 is not that good. I mean, going forward, the stock is still 10% to pivot. Maybe if the RS rating improves, it can be looked at, but I can still say that there will be other stocks that have, better parameters and better technical features than this one. Last is Dawat. Thank you for pointing out, Rashid. So again, a stage 4 base, very volatile base and something not to be looked at. Again, a disclaimer that when the stock, rallied from the earlier position, it was again part of the model portfolio. Uh, and At this moment, considering is a stage 4 scenario, will not be considering it because late stage basis, as we have been advocating throughout this session, is that those have the chances of failures. So, we may not look at it. So someone who've been holding the stock, can continue to hold the stock till the moment the 50 DMA gets breached. In the last few sessions as well, the stock closed very close to the 50 DMA. Today, it is closed above the 50 DMA, but you can see the volume is on the very lower side, so which is not a good sign. So if going forward, if the 50 DMA gets breached, it would be advisable to exit the stock. Rishit, you want to, end the session on some
No,
closing
I think
remarks? Yeah.
we have tried to cover most of the queries. So there are some questions on how to count bases and some about the methodology. So you can go to this learn part. So if I'm indicating it for you, just go to this learn section, and over there, you just click on the articles over here. So in articles, you will find all the learning articles related to the bases, related to the owning methodology. So in case if you have any queries related to that, you can always write us an email. कोई भी stock की queries भी छूट गई हो, then please shoot us an email. We will try to respond as soon as possible. So I hope it was a useful session for you. You guys learned something in this session. So that's it for today's session. Thank you very much for joining. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Sumita.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining in and hope we added some value, during this session for you.